Hello, beautiful people. Good morning again, and or good night to good evening to others who are in the other side of the world. How are you all doing? Feel free to chat your name and where are you from. It's nice to spend this morning with all of you. We'll have an hour together. So this live stream is just basically ask me any question and I'll be more than happy to answer it. Anything related to Philippines, relationship, or intimacy. Those are the kind of topics that I really love and enjoy discussing about. So feel free. Hmm. Someone asked me about this question like, are Filipinas at the age of 30 considered as a leftover here in the country? Because at that age, they're still not in a relationship and they don't have kids yet. So, on that question, I would actually answer that majority of, since the common thing here in the Philippines is that women have kids at an early age. Women here really are in this mindset of having a family. They are nurturing women and they're family oriented. And even for my experience, I wanted to have a family at the age of 24, but yet I had it when I was even younger than that. It's very uncommon to meet a Filipino woman at the age of 30 that is still single. But the common reason for that is maybe they are the oldest, they're the breadwinner of the family. So instead of like prioritizing themselves, they have to prioritize their family. And the result is that they didn't have time to date or yeah, they didn't have time to date. Or sometimes they work abroad. They're abroad again just to provide for the family because they're the breadwinner. So that's the common thing that I've noticed, and I've known people directly that in that situation that they're already in their 30s, they haven't have kids yet because they've been working abroad or even here in the Philippines and been providing, being the breadwinner of their family. So I wouldn't, it's such a bad term for people to tell them as like a leftover. But I guess it's just mostly a joke because here, if you're already, your age is past the calendar, then they would say you're being left by the train already. So there's already that pressure for them to get married, to have kids, because for women, the older you get, the harder it is to bear a child. So that's one question that I answered. Let me see if we have other question here. Hmm. How about you? Do you have any question about topic related to the Philippines or any questions about relationship and intimacy, feel free to drop it down in the chat. And also would love to know your name and where you guys from. Hi Mark, good morning. From the future. Nice. Well, you're in the present moment. So thank you for dropping by in the present moment. Hello, hello, everyone. Good morning again for those of you who just arrive. Feel free to drop your name and where you're from. And again, any question that you would like to ask. Mhm. Ah, welcome, Mark from Australia. Nice to have you here. Thank you for being here. Mm. So today's live stream is all about answering questions that you guys may have related to the Philippines relationship or sexuality. So don't be shy and feel free to drop down your questions in the chat. Later today, I will be meeting the girls as well, Leia, Shay, and Maya, and looking forward for conversation with them. It's always been fun to spend time with those girls and yeah, just have a conversation. Hi Al, thank you for being here from Southern California. Oh, that's good. I'm glad that you guys have a sunny weather there. Here it's been cloudy, but still warm. Cloudy and humid. The last time I had a conversation with these girls, Maya, Leia, and Shay, and we had a marathon of content creation. Like I just admire the dedication and hard work of these ladies. Like we spend time here at our place, and we've been chit chatting, creating content for like 7 hours. I feel like that's the longest time I've spent with someone, not just working, but really enjoying the work as well. It didn't feel like work because we are just having fun with a conversation that we had, and even talking about topics that we all can relate as a Filipina, being, the culture here and how different it is from the West, how we are being disciplined in a way of being physical. Like most of our parents, their way of disciplining is really just like a Latina or Mexican mom, where you'll be spanked and stuff like that. And also some toxic traits here in the culture where family don't usually praise their kids. In fact, it's the opposite. Most of them are most of them they will only focus on the things that you're not good at, instead of telling you that, hey, you did well in this field and I'm proud of you and keep it up. No, most of the family here, they don't focus on that. They will always tell you like, oh, you'll be good here but you'll fail in this area, you're not doing well here. So that's just one of the toxic traits here in the Philippines. I love that question, Eli. And yes, I that was a long read, a long post, and I reposted it because I just resonated so much about conscious relationship. And I realized, let me actually look for that post because it's just so beautiful, and I wish all of us would actually go, or our goal is to have that conscious relationship. Because number one sign of being a conscious couple is that they are not attached to the outcome of their relationship. They are bind together. You are in the relationship because you are there to grow, to evolve as a human being. And for me, that's just amazing because I realize I'm already, before I met Eli, I've started to shift into focusing on personal development, focusing on making myself better. But as soon as I'm in a partnership where my partner also focus on that, it's just amazing. Just being in a relationship for 2.5 years, I've seen tremendous growth in myself. It made me feel even more comfortable, confident, and secure about myself. And also just the two of us just able to create something bigger than ourselves, something that we can also contribute to the society. And I feel like that's just amazing. And a lot of couples, like regular couples nowadays, they just come in their relationship to fulfill their personal needs. So what I mean by that is they don't want to be alone, so they want someone to be their company, or they are driven by lust and they want someone to, spend the night with. And but then again, those are just very common personal needs that we're looking for towards someone, but you wouldn't expect to want that for one person for what, 5, 10, 20 years. At the end of the day, or there comes a time that you will get bored, you'll get triggered. So it's so much better if you find a relationship that you can grow with. And I'll talk more about that because I love to create content about this. DY, are any recommendations on how to handle close friends or partners that come from difficult childhood and have developed low self-esteem and have a lot of unhealthy coping mechanism? Sounds like a lot of people. Maybe not just from the Philippines, but all over. And I also realize that I have those kind of patterns. I definitely have very low self esteem. And I think in your end, you can just be understanding and hold space, but ultimately, you can't really change them. You maybe can influence how they behave by reminding them that, hey, like, you talking to yourself that way will not really help you develop like self-esteem. Like, just maybe reminding them of their worth. That's, I think, the only thing that you can do, empowering them. But at the end of the day, it has to be on their end that needs to change, because it took me, even right now, sometimes I still find myself in that low self, or not low self-esteem, as mostly self-doubt, which is, I think, related. And Eli just have to remind me of, look, you've that did this, did that, you know. Right now it's just something scary for you because you haven't done it yet. So just having someone reminding me of my worth, stuff like that, is actually very helpful. But at the end of the day, I have to be the one to believe in myself. I have to be the one to really increase my self-esteem. Otherwise, it wouldn't change. Al, how do Filipinas feel about no sex until marriage? I am a Christian man, believes in biblical principle. It has not always been that way, but my life has changed. Hi, Al. Thank you for asking that question. I think there can be Filipinas who are okay with that, as long as you just set proper expectation. You know, um, m- Especially if you go to province, I think most Filipinas are still in the conservative way. And if you come here, they might want you to marry them quickly or right away so that you can have that intimate moment. But definitely, there are women who would be okay with that, as long as you set proper expectation, have the conversation ahead of time. And then you can tell, you will know whether or not they're okay with that or not. So in for that topic, I'm not really sure if maybe I'm not that well. Yeah, not really. I'm curious, why is it? Because it's being said in the Bible, that's why you want to continue with that, to not have sex until marriage? Do you feel guilty if you do that? Curious. Just going back on Eli's question about conscious relationship. Now, I said number one sign of a conscious couple is that they come together in a relationship to grow, to evolve as a human being. And personally, that's how I feel. As you know, it feels like the ultimate goal here of my existence is to evolve into a better version of myself. If I don't evolve, if I feel like I'm stagnant, then that's such a boring life for me. So constant evolution is something that I really look forward for in life and makes me feel excited existing and living here. Now another sign or a trait of a conscious couple is that each person in the relationship is committed to owning their shit, which is I love. I really love I really love this, because all of us, regardless if you have an amazing childhood, there will always be things, what you call baggages, that you will carry, that you will bring into the relationship. And there will become a time, maybe 3 months, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, those packages, those traumas will come up. And most of the time, we think that, oh, relationship just are supposed to be good. And if it's not good, then the relationship is bound to crash. It's not healthy anymore. But there are always those challenges that will happen in the relationship. So owning your own shit means realizing that, hey, there are things that I have to work on. There are things that I need to heal from my past. And if my partner tends to trigger it, because it will happen, I'm seeing it as an opportunity to look into that trigger and, like, oh, I'm triggered. That means I haven't healed this yet. That means I need to work on it. Maybe you need to go on a therapy, or maybe you need to reflect on that and, like, change your mindset around that trigger. So I think really that's really good, because most of those trigger is the feeling of abandoned, trapped, rejected, and sometimes we blame our partners for that, even though these are actually some triggers from our past. So just own your shit, people. Uh, well, it seems that you have a nice value there, Al. I think you just have to look for a values aligned woman, a woman who also value her faith. I think that's really one of the most important thing when we're looking for a partner. We don't just look for a partner because we have chemistry with them, because there's a great connection. We need to also consider compatibility. Do we actually have the same goals in life? Do we actually have the same values? And values is really important because that serve as the compass. How you live your life is based on the values that you believe. So if you have such a strong value of faith, then look for someone who has strong faith as well, and I'm sure it will be an easy conversation. Hi, Ian. Better late than never. Thank you for being here. And I just want to go back as well to a question that Dee asks about recommendations on how to handle close friends or partners with difficult childhood or develop low self esteem. I think it's extending the understanding and the space is very important, and also showing that, what, you're not necessarily broken. This is just, we just have to unwire, reprogram those beliefs, those things that you've developed in your mind, and to remind them that they're not broken, that they can still evolve and, make themselves better. That gives them hope. And also, I think it's just avoid maybe pointing it out like, hey, you're being dramatic. Just be more sensitive with the choice of words that you'll be using. Set boundaries as well. I think is very important. Having the boundaries of, I it really bothers me to see you thinking that way about yourself. Like, you're build that self-esteem. Yeah, what I do is usually just have a conversation with someone, with my friend, and actually listen to them, acknowledge where they're us, be curious of why they think. I think you can start there as well. Be curious of why they think they are not good enough, they're not worthy, and then eventually they will come up to a realization like, oh yeah, I've been treated this way I've been bullied as a kid, I've been told ugly by my parents, stuff like that. Then ask them, have you met people who actually said the opposite? So try to look for an opposite evident of that. And try to impart your own view as well of, at least for me, beauty and self-esteem doesn't have to be just the looks. And again, if you want to feel more confident, then you can work on it. If makeup makes you feel look better, then go for it. If a certain type of clothes make you feel better, then go for it. If you don't feel confident about your body, then work out. Having two kids, I have I was very unhealthy as well back then, and have such a low self confidence, low self esteem about my physical look. And I've been just dwelling on that for a long time, up until pandemic happened, and I got COVID back then and decided that, oh, I want to actually take care of myself better, and then started working out, just 10 minutes of workout every day. And surprisingly, 3 weeks of being consistent, I see some physical changes in my body. So that's even just the bonus. And when I see that, wow, I can actually change my physical form, that's amazing. What else can I change in my life? And it just creates a ripple effect in my whole life, just seeing one single change. And I hope that you'll be able to at least influence or inspire people about that. And sometimes, if we really want to help people, we need to show them some example from ourselves of how to better take care of ourselves, of how do we actually look at ourselves, because sometimes we're still just like a kid. We don't really listen right away to words. We follow by example. If we see someone and they're talking about how to be successful and they are successful, then we're more likely to listen to them. But if someone who is a homeless telling us how to be successful, where you're talking a lot of shit. So maybe starting by example as well, embodying what it means to be confident is something that we can show to our friends and that we can inspire them. Question: how did you get involved with Shay, Leia, and Maya? Well, first, we all live in the same place, and I I met Shay through Mike, and we had a collaboration. I met Maya reached out to me, and we did a collaboration as well. And Leia is someone that I met through the personal development group that I organize here in Dumaguete. And I did an energy inner child healing with her. She's one of my good friend, and the three of them get to connect. And I'm just glad that I'm able to join join the combo. It's just so amazing to be around this beautiful woman, and I love the conversation. It just flourished into a lot of beautiful topics. Pete, you made a very shocking comment in a blog. Women should use the art of seduction to get what they want. That's very feminist. Please explain how that can be possibly be a good thing. Thank you, Pete, for saying that. Now, I'm not, there's definitely the seduction and manipulation. So I'm not combining seduction to manipulation. And I'm talking about this when I mention about the art of seduction, I'm talking about it in a place of in relationship. When you're together, sometimes we tend to get complacent. Sometimes we tend to get just so comfortable and feeling so secure within our relationship that we don't even exert effort. And for a woman, as a woman who's in a relationship, who wants to have a relationship that are always exciting and amped up, fire burning, I have the ability to do that. And seduction is a very, not feminist, but feminine way of expressing your being a woman. And I love that. I love seducing my man. May it be wearing a sexy clothes if I want to connect with my man and I know that he's stressed at work, I'll do that by giving him a sensual massage. That is my way of seducing him. And if we're going on a date night and I want him to just lock his eyes on me, I'll be wearing a nice dress, a nice clothes, so he can get his eyes off me. So that's what I mean by the art of seduction. We don't even have to do any verbal words. We can just how we walk, how we compose ourselves. And again, it's totally different when it comes to manipulation. So the seduction here is just to be able to connect deeper with someone, to be able to connect deeper with your partner, and to spice it up, amp it up, so that it's not boring. I hope that clear it, Pete. Stan, do most of your friends enjoy French kissing? I've found that some Filipinos don't like it or they have little expertise doing it. I enjoy kissing sometimes for long periods. I love French kiss, but yes, other people may not like it. Maybe too much tongue, too much saliva. So you just have to be present and be aware of what is it that your partner like or don't like, and just be in curiosity. Don't hold yourself back. Just try what you prefer with someone that you're connecting with, and just be in a place of curiosity, like, oh, I wonder if this woman actually enjoys this, let me try it. And then if you think that they don't, then mm, change it, change a little bit, try different. Don't stick to just one type of kissing. Try different variety of kissing, explore variety of kissing styles, so that it won't be boring as well. And so if you're still in the dating scene and trying to meet someone, then you're well equipped of a different type of kissing, and you would still be able to enjoy, the time with that person. Thank you, Al and Mark and Ian. What booth is that, Ian? Is that the French kissing or a way of kissing that you'll be teaching Filipinas? Definitely. Yes. We again there are women, because women have the ability to seduce. Some of them use it to manipulate, use it to get what they want in a way where it's not good for the other person. But if it's getting what you want that would also benefit your partner, that's great. But if it's just one-sided, if it's just a selfish act, then I'm not pro to that. That's the dark side of seduction that uh, I'm not advertising. I don't like that. Ronald, I wonder how common is it for Filipina to use a vulgar language or swearing? Really depends on the family that you grew up with, the culture, the lower the socioeconomic of the person. I think the more common it is for them to use vulgar language. Yes, we have our own vulgar language as well. I personally don't like it, but I know that in my previous relationship where it was such a toxic relationship, I was able to release all the negative, spiteful words, and that was not something I respect. So, if you come across a woman who may use vulgar word or swears a lot, you can just set the boundaries that, hey, this is not something that I'm used to, and this is not something that I actually like to hear. Like, I would love to continue communicating with you, but can we refrain from swearing? Because it makes me uncomfortable. something like that. Butterfly kiss. I'm curious. Is it like peck from all over the body? What is butterfly kiss? I'm curious. What is that? Let me know. Little things like dragging your finger across my enough. Ooh, I like that. I like soft, I like caressing my partner. And I think having long fingernails, it's helpful for for scratching. Ooh, that is nice. I'll try to do that, though I have a very short eyelashes. That's so nice. I haven't tried that. Thank you for also introducing to me new idea. I'll use it. I'll try it. Let me try it myself. Ah, I can actually do that. Ooh, interesting. Yes, I'm someone who likes sensual, who like touch and teasing. So I think that would be really nice. Red Rock, she uses one words in conversation. Good things such as this common urges. Could be both. Actually, it's yeah, if a Filipina is shy, then that would be those words are things that you will hear. Is this in conversation in person or is this chat, Red Rocks? And is this someone you already know for a while or you're just getting to know this person? Because, it varies from time to time. Usually, if you meet a Filipino for the first time and if they're someone who is a little bit shy, then the shorter the words that they will say, the better, so that they don't embarrass themselves. mm. So, yeah, that could be maybe they're shy. Try to ask an open ended question, maybe, and then you will see if they will engage. That would be a good sign. Like, hey, I would like to get to know you better. Can you tell me more about yourself? What is it that you enjoy doing as a hobby? What's your ideal date, ideal partner? Ask open ended questions. You don't get one word reply. And then if it's still the same, then it's going to be up to you. Do you want to continue having a conversation with someone who doesn't engage as much? Because you know what? A lot of Filipinos, they can. This is very common in person because they're very shy to talk. But in chat, I think most Filipinas can chat long word, long reply if they want to. It's so much easier for us to chat. Going back to the French kiss. Oh, I remember. What? I think I was 15 when I researched about how to do a French kiss. It's funny. Thank you so much everyone for engaging with me. I'm loving our conversation here. Now I talk about Eli asked me a question about what is a conscious relationship. I shared a post in my Facebook about it, and I've mentioned one thing for a conscious relationship, a conscious couple is first they they are there to grow together. They are there to evolve as a better human being. I think that's a beautiful reason why you want to be in a relationship with someone is because you want to evolve. And then the second one is owning your own shit. You know, couple who are in a conscious relationship, they don't blame other person for their triggers. They even look at it as an opportunity to realize that, oh, there are things that trigger me, then therefore there are things that I have that I can work on. And then the third one is all feelings are welcome and no internal process is condemned. So there's always room to feel everything. Sometimes when we're in a relationship, we tend to condemn people when they feel angry, when they're crying, when they're sad, instead of holding that safe space to acknowledge that, okay, you're angry. Like, why? Tell me more. And let's understand where that feeling is coming from. So I think that's actually a good way to hold a safe space to better understand someone is to invite all feelings and to let that person feel that feeling instead of shoving or numbing it away. It's beautiful. And number five is that the relationship is a place to practice love. So we think that when we got into a relationship, we're already automatically will just have love all the time. But love needs to be cultivated, love needs to be created, basically. Single mom. I do not mind, but some concerns biological that coming back. Well, we're going back to the if he comes back, and lastly, me not being able to lead the family. Thoughts. That is a very valid concern that you should be asking, Al. When you are meeting someone and you are interested with that woman and that woman happened to be a single mom, these are the questions, the concern that you should raise. Like, hey, I really like you, I really like this relationship, and what's your relationship with the father of your kids? And I would suggest, because at the end of the day, because for me, I have two kids from my Filipino ex. We ended up in a very toxic relationship, and he's not supporting. And my thought is not to let him see the kids, but I appreciate Eli encouraging me to, like, what, set aside your own anger towards him. At the end of the day, he's still the father of your kids. So if he wants to be present in his life, at least to provide emotional support, then that's great. And I think that's so much better. So just getting to know the woman, getting to know her situation with the kid's dad is something that you just have to talk about. You just have to bring that up instead of having all the assumption, all the worry in your brain. Just put it out there and have a conversation about it to clear it up. What would you say, Stan? What would you say is the biggest difference between Filipino men and foreign men, especially American men, as I am one? Common difference is that I think foreign American, as what I've noticed, because my partner is also from America, they're more like driven, they work more, and they want, especially if you're in the state, you have a different life standard there, so there's like a baseline for even for a low income. But here Filipino men tends to just be, there's a good and bad side. They're very chill, they're very relaxed, they're very like go with the flow. But the negative side of that is they don't strive. Again, this is not everyone, this is not majority. I'm not speaking in general, but common, you know, for that's why there's a lot of single moms here, because most Filipino men, they are they don't really operate better in taking responsibility. They don't take responsibility, is what I would say. They're so afraid of taking responsibility that they would back off, and they don't really have progressive thinking or future thinking. They don't think about tomorrow, the future. They just only think about today, which is good. You're in the present moment, but sometimes when you have a family, you need to know if your family is will have a food to eat the next day. So not a very good provider. That's one of the reason why a lot of single mom they prefer to be in a relationship with foreigners, because we think that foreigners, based on your country, you are more progressive, you're more responsible. It doesn't mean that we're just in it for the money, but we want someone who are strong-willed just like us, who are driven just like us. Because as I've said in Misconception of Filipinas, I created a video about that. Most women here in the country are actually the one who are more driven. There are more women who is the breadwinner in the family. And we want a man who can come into our relationship who can be like that. So, as women, we can drop into our feminine nature and we can be the loving and nurturing type of woman. Because what happens here, partnering with a Filipino guy who's lazy, we have to step up. We have to be the man in the family. So, that's kind of the difference. Because our nature is really, we love to be a nurturing, loving, caring person. And most yeah, if we connect with a foreigner, we feel that way. We are in our feminine, form. But with a Filipino guy, we have to step up because they're just too laid back. Thank you. I can support a family, and if we were married, I would see those trans mine as well. I was orphan and would love to chance to be a good father to the fatherless. God did that. Oh, that's very sweet of you, Al. That's very nice. I'm sure whoever it is that you'll be partner with is a lucky person. So, yeah, just identify what it is that you really value in life. What is it that you really want in a partner? And attract that type of woman. That's always the thing that I um, encourage people is, don't settle for less. It's not about having such a high standard, which, yeah, you should have a high standard because, you're talking about a lifelong relationship with someone and you don't want to be partnered with someone that doesn't really support you. Again, let's aim for a conscious relationship where we can grow together with our partner. Pool, were you falling out easy of love? Love without sex or sex without love? I think for me, love is very important. Love and intimacy is very important. Sex is good, but you can have sex and still not feel connected with a person, and that feels so empty. I don't For this choice, I would go to love without sex. I can love someone and I can still be intimate with someone, cuddling, hugging, kissing. That is more, that is even better than just the sex that most people know about, which is the penetrative sex. Because for us women, it doesn't even, a lot of women doesn't even orgasm for a penetrative sex. They orgasm more in the clitoral or, some other types of sex. So definitely love for me. But if I can have both, both. Thank you. Thank you, Mapul, All, Mark, Ian, Stan, for sharing your answer or sharing your questions. How old are you and your kids? Do you want more kids? I am 27. I'll be 28 in the next few days. And my kids are 8 and 10. So you can do the math. I started at a very young age. But no, I don't want more kids. I'm very happy with my two. And there's just so many things that I want to do in life as well that I don't think I would want to start over in taking care of a baby. I believe love is a decision versus a feeling. Now, I do believe feelings need to be there as well, but at the end of the day, when days are tough, it should always rest in the decision to love over feelings. Thank you so much, Al, for sharing that. I do believe that as well. When you decide to love someone, then you create that feeling of love. That's actually, I believe, how it goes. Mark, oh, let me is are there many single mothers who are not married, or due to religions many had to marry before having kids? I think there's a lot of single moms who are not married. I am not married. I'm glad I'm not married. Yeah, I wasn't married with my ex. Mm, I think in the city, marriage is not very common because they are very used to this live in situation that you just live together, but you don't necessarily have to get married. But in the province, there's more pressure in the society. Like, oh, if someone impregnate you, even though you just know each other for a few days, or you don't really see yourself as wanting to be married, but because of society's pressure, family pressure, they tend to force couple to get married. But that's very common in the provinces here in the Philippines. Ian, I'm not very sure about your question. Where will you find professionals between 35 to 60? 35 years old to 60? Is that what you're asking? Mark. The question is about difficulty a foreigner would have later starting a relationship with a single mother. Thanks. Oh, that's very sweet of you all. Thank you so much. The question is about difficulty a foreigner would have later starting a relationship with a single mother. Thanks. Yeah, I think there's always going to be difficulty, and for sure, it's even an added layer of difficulty if the woman that you want to have a relationship with is a single mom, because you know moms, it's part of our life. It's like half of us is to our children, and that means you don't just take care of me, but you also take care of our kids. And it's such a big responsibility. Like, our Filipino partner run away because they can't take care of that responsibility. Would you be willing to take care of that responsibility? Would you be willing to work with the mom to take care of that? Would you go above and beyond in that area to be in a relationship with this woman? So ask yourself first how committed you are, and because I think it would also be good for the mom. It's also difficult, as at least for me, it took me a while. I was single for 3 years. It took me a while to really be in relationship with someone, because I have to think, is it really a good idea for my kids? What if it doesn't work? Then it's not just me who will also be hurt, but also my kids, especially if they've already bond and create that bond with the guy that I was seeing with. So make sure that both parties are willing enough to take their responsibility. Thank you, Al. I appreciate your questions, this gift that you shared as well, and for letting me share my insights. I love that, Mark. That's beautiful. Yes, and not everything can be worked on. We just need to really be able to communicate it. Me and Eli have gone through a lot of difficulties, and mostly, especially in the start, it's around the kids. I have my parenting style. He has his own parenting style, and we clash in that area. But what really ground us back together is just knowing that we love each other, knowing that our intention is for the better of each other, and communicate. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Learn how to properly communicate. Learn some ways of how to effectively communicate. Ah, hi Ronald. Yes, I do have a partner. He's from the US. He's 46, 47. Oh no, 46 years old or 47. I don't keep track of the age. An age gap relationship question. Do you think Filipinos look for older foreigners, or is it older foreigners chasing younger Filipinas? How big is your age gap, if you may ask? Ah, so he's 47 right now. So our age gap, me and my partner, we have 20 years age gap. And I think most Filipinas, they prefer older foreigners because we think that we associate age as maturity. The kid's dad, he's 7 years older than me. But then when we're together, I feel like I am more mature than him. And that's why I made this decision that if I'm going to find another partner, I'm going to look for even more older than just a 7 years age gap, because I don't want to be the one who has to make all the decision. I don't want to be the one to really lead the family. I want someone who can lead with me, who can, you know, who I can plan with. And I need to have that mature man. But I realize it doesn't really mean that if the person is older, they're more mature. It it doesn't mean that way. So yeah, but again, for most Filipinas, they associate maturity and responsibility to the guys that are older. Therefore, they tend to, l- go for a more older foreigners. Do Filipinas like when their man leads? My perspective in a quote. Yes, Al. I think women in general, we want to be led. We want a guy, not necessarily we want to be led, but we want a guy, we want a man who can lead, because that shows that we can lean on this person, that shows strength, that shows a strong foundation. We are not really dependent on you, we're not really reliant on you, but we want that, if I feel weak, if I am feeling vulnerable, I have someone who I can lean on, I have someone who can protect me, who can take care of me. So it is such a bonus, it's appealing for a woman when they see a man who oozes this personality of a leader. And it's vice versa. I also want to be able to lead myself and lead a family there, so that if my partner is also not in the position, then I can be there. But yeah, I definitely want a man that can lead. The stress of life is mine to bear, so my love may live in peace. The heartache of life is mine to bear, that my love may live in happiness. But you, my love, are mine. That's so beautiful. Thank you, Al, for sharing this beautiful quote. I love this. Joe Finn. Hi, Gladys. I love the video you did with Maya Shea and one more, Leia, that I don't remember. That was such a powerful video about Pinay woman's perspective. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, Maya, Shay, Leia, and I created a video. I'm amazed by Maya for being able to edit and release the content right away. Mine will be released tomorrow. there is actually two videos as well that I created for with the girls. One is all about intimacy. What is intimacy in a Filipino perspective? How do you show your intimacy and how you cultivate intimacy in the relationship? So, we're having a conversation about that. And stay tuned for that video that I'll be publishing as well in my channel, and it's going to be tomorrow. Oh, we have few seconds left. Thank you, everyone. It's been so nice and fun chatting and answering your question. And see you again next time. I'm doing my live stream at least bi-weekly. I wish to do it every week, but I also have so many beautiful things that I'm focusing on. And I'm just so glad and happy that, I could spend this time with all of you. Thank you, everyone, and have a beautiful day. Good evening, and have a good night to others who are in the other side of the globe. Thank you. Mwah. Have an orgasmic day, everyone. Bye.